After all the hype and a budget reportedly in excess of $40 million, Batman finally got off the ground last night, and the excess continued as a crush of fans and lines of stars were on hand for a Gotham-sized premiere. It wasn't Gotham City, but everyone in town turned out to see one of the most eagerly awaited films of the year. Batman brought out Batmaniacs and celebrities at its Los Angeles premiere.
Nice outfit.
Wait till they get a load of me.
I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards. It's incredible.
I'm just excited about the whole thing.
I am a Batman fan. Biff, bam, Biffy, sow.
Star Michael Keaton wasn't talking as he walked in. Neither was Jack Nicholson, who arrived after the film had started. But their performances as Batman and the Joker got rave reviews afterwards, especially from those fans lucky enough to get one of the free 1,000 seats at the premiere.
It was a fantastic movie, and Jack Nicholson was great.
I've loved Batman for a zillion years. I was worried that with all the publicity, people were, it might not live up to it. It surpasses it. This is great.
And the stars were just as enthusiastic.
It's powerful, it's mythic, it's big and psychologically complex and entertaining.
Jack Nicholson's just brilliant, completely out of his mind.
It's truly unbelievable. I mean, Michael Keaton is as good as it gets. Jack Nicholson, there is no one else to play the Joker. It is unbelievable.
Batman opens in theaters nationwide on Friday, and by the looks of things, if you start lining up now, you might get in to see it the first couple of days.
Driving fans of the Caped Crusader, Batty.
Obsessive in his anger and fixation on revenge. But will he be portrayed that way in a new movie from Warner Brothers coming out in June? Many hardcore fans are afraid he won't. They have been writing hundreds of letters to Warner Brothers since they found out about the man cast as Batman.
The controversy is whether an actor like Michael Keaton, best known for roles like Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice, can pull off the part of the Caped Crusader.
I think that he's kind of a wimp.
It don't seem that it's right, that you should have a smaller man playing as a Batman.
Well, I'd rather see Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I think Arnold Keaton would be good too.
He needs some muscles on him.
I would have liked to seen a sexier person, a more macho man.
Most Americans remember Batman from the silly camp 60s TV series. But Batman, the comic book hero, is really supposed to be a tough guy. According to the legend, the young Bruce Wayne witnessed his parents' murder by a criminal and then vowed revenge. He spent the rest of his life preparing himself physically and mentally, and then came across the Bat idea as a way to strike terror in the hearts of supervillains everywhere.
He's doing it for revenge. His parents got offed. They cacked him. He's cheesed. He's going to go out. He's going to kick the crap out of people. He could use a little therapy.
So when Warner Brothers announced a $30 million Batman movie that would treat the Gotham City crime fighter right, hardcore fans were elated until Michael Keaton was named to play the title role.
He's balding. He's short. He's not broad. He's just not there. He's not Batman.
But then this trailer started to play in movie theaters around the country. Theaters reported people coming in just to see the trailer. It shows a dark, serious movie and a tough-looking Caped Crusader.
Now I'm more willing to give it a try. I'm more willing to take a look at it.
Everyone connected with the movie at Warner Brothers refused our request for an interview on the controversy, but director Tim Burton has said he wanted a kind of everyman in the role, a real human being with psychological problems.
If I can just reverse the polarity, send out waves of super energy.
But hardcore fans like Bo Smith of Cerrito, West Virginia, just don't trust Hollywood, especially after the success of the 60s TV show and movie. Bo's afraid Hollywood will just poke fun on what could be a legitimate drama.
If I am wrong and Michael Keaton blows me away, I'll be the first to admit. You can come back here and say, hey, Bo, you were wrong, and I'll say, yes, I was. But I don't think you guys are going to be making any trips back to Cerrito.
And what about TV's Batman, who with Adam West won in the role he made famous?
Well, naturally, I would have cast me.
Would he play him differently this time? Maybe more like the disturbed vigilante in the original comic books? would he play him as a nut?
Batman is a nut, you're right. I mean, any guy who runs around in tights fighting crime 24 hours a day, all his life, stays peaked and ready for this is a little cuckoo. His coconut is strange. He is a nut. So you gotta understand that, and you gotta play him like that. But I tried to do Batman as a very likable nut. And yeah, well, that's enough of this.
And here's some trivia for you. Michael Keaton is actually the fourth man to play Batman. There were 2 serials in theatrical release in the 1940s. Here is the original. Lewis Wilson, he initiated the role in the 1943 serial Batman. And then Robert Lowry played him in the 1949 serial The New Adventures of Batman and Robin. And of course, there is no Robin in the movie because the comic book company did a poll and the readers didn't want Robin, so they killed him off.
Well, those same hardcore fans know that he's celebrating his 50th anniversary this year.
Is that right?
50.
50. Well,
Yeah.
he doesn't look like he's aged a bit.
Well, and who cares if he's balding? He wears a hat anyway. Coming up.
That paraphernalia than you'd find in Bruce Wayne's basement, and enough stars to fill the audience at the Academy Awards. The man with the pointy ears and the black rubber suit drew a crowd of at least 8,000 in Los Angeles last night as Batman the movie finally premiered. Is the hype over, or has it just begun? Dale Harimoto reports.
An entire city block was cordoned off to hold the fans, and it took 2 theaters to hold everybody who'd been invited to the premiere. And for those who weren't invited, the show outside was almost as exciting as the show inside.
I love Batman, and I loved everything. I like the car. I'm really excited to see the movie.
I hope it's a good movie. I've heard a lot about it, and it sounds a little darker than what I think a lot of people are expecting.
This is like coming back to my childhood.
Batman star Michael Keaton flew through the crowd of Bat fans, some of whom had been waiting for hours just to catch a glimpse of him.
The premiere party was supposed to be held here on the streets of Westwood with elaborate plans to recreate Gotham City. But Warner Brothers got nervous about security and decided to donate the money to charity instead. But it looks like a party, and it feels like a party. Is this a party? Yeah! It's a party!
Judging from the crowd's reaction, this may be the summer's longest party.
Michael was excellent, excellent. I mean, it's Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton together, but it's some great performances, though.
No, I loved it. Yeah, great action.
I thought it was great. It was action-packed. I wasn't bored for a second. I loved it. I really loved it. Michael Keaton is wonderful.
Great.
Of course, Jack Nicholson was brilliant.
I thought they were both great.
But it was what the die-hard fans thought that really mattered.
That was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And my man Jack was great.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Nicholson was just incredible. It was perfect. Hey, I've been reading comic books since I was 6 years old. They couldn't have done this movie any better. It's great. I love this movie. I'm going to see it over and over again.
And when do you get to see Batman? Friday's the official release, but theaters in several cities will jump the gun and show it late Thursday night. Among those attending one exclusive screening Thursday in Washington, D.C. will be Vice President Dan Quayle, along with his family. Afterward, he's reportedly going to attend a reception at the National Zoo's newly redecorated Batcave.
You remember that old saying, flying like a bat out of, well, you know the saying. Well, that's the way people are flocking to retail outlets to get their share of Batmania.
Now, what do you think?
Retailers think it's wonderful, and they've pulled out all the Bat stops. Bat shoes, Bat towels, Bat shirts, Bat mugs, and none of the Bat goods are hanging around.
Well, like the Joker T-shirt, I wish I had one here to show you, but obviously we've had a couple of orders of those come in. They're gone. The hats are gone. I mean, it's just certain items that just continue to go.
More than 100 companies have been licensed to sell the Caped Crusader, not the movie, but the merchandise. Even his royal purple badness, Prince, has come out with a soundtrack. More hype for a movie that hasn't quite left the Batcave yet.
I think it's going to be rad.
Really? What's rad?
Radical.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. And kids aren't the only ones experiencing holy cow syndrome. The older generation has been keeping this McKinney Avenue Bat Gallery pretty busy. Old movie marquees, Batman miniatures, buttons, and yes, comic books are going like Batcakes.
Batman's become hip and cool, and people can come out of the closet and admit that they read Batman and that comics are in vogue now.
Theater employees will probably clean up in overtime this weekend. People have been trying to buy tickets now since early this morning. So as the fever builds, Batman is already in the bag, retailers say, and if the movie's a hit or not may not even matter. Now, Batman will open in some 2,000 theaters nationwide this weekend, and considering all the money they spent on the hype, the movie producers are hoping that they too can scream "Holy cow," that is, when the box office receipts are totaled. Larry Mullins, Channel 5 News, at a theater near you.
Here's a riddle for you. What's black and gold and soon to be seen in living rooms all over the country? Why, of course, it's the Batman video. And here's our very own boy wonder, Mike Randall, with the story.
He was boffo at the box office. Chances are he'll find victory at the video stores. I feel a little underdressed for this story. Aha, that's more like it. 15 million copies of The Capes Crusader were released last night at 12 a.m., creating midnight madness in video stores locally and around the country. There hasn't been this kind of chaos since the Cabbage Patch Kids. Holy bankroll, Batman. Warner Brothers stands to rake in over 350 million bat bucks on this one. If that doesn't make video store owners smile, nothing will. How's it selling?
Like hotcakes.
Glad to hear it. Warner's asking $24.98 for the flick. Some stores like Video Factory are parting with it for a mere $17.99. If you ask me, it looks like some folks would pay any price to pop the Black Knight into their VCRs. I didn't ask.
I'm lusting after Michael Keaton and a 9-year-old son that has to have Batman.
It'll wear out soon. I'm sure we'll buy another one.
Well, my kids are dying to get out of school to see the movie.
Well, it may look like an ordinary videotape, but then looks are deceiving. Make no mistake, my friends, this is the videotape of the decade.
That'll be $17.99, Batman.
Oops.
Oh, he is clever, isn't he, old Mike?
Mike or Batman?
No, well, both of them. So I'm surprised it's out on video already. It was just in the movie house, theater.
Maybe they can make more money that way.
Hello, everyone. By now, you pretty much have had to have heard that the summer's big movie is Batman Returns. In its first couple of weeks, it has already grossed more than $100 million at the box office, and it is already creating controversy. Some parents contend that Batman Returns, which is rated PG-13, is actually being marketed for younger children, and the movie is just too violent. Let's get an expert opinion on that from USA Today's junior movie critic, 10-year-old Danny Slasky. Please welcome Danny. So, Danny, what did you think of the movie?
It was very violent. It was a total attack against kids, the whole movie. Everything that kids love was being used against them.
Like what?
Clowns. Even the Penguin had a ducky boat.
So and things that kids could identify
presents
with.
And mobiles. All that type of stuff were using to hurt kids and capture kids. Penguin's total goal was to hurt kids.
You think it was scary then?
Definitely for kids.
Yeah, for you?
I was actually a little bit scared, and I have never been scared of a movie like this before.
Yeah.
I came out of Terminator 2, fine.
Yeah. What do you think about the possibility of younger kids seeing this movie? You're 10, and it frightened you.
It's just not for younger kids. Penguin always had goop coming out of his mouth. Catwoman took her claws and played tic-tac-toe on a man's face. It was just so violent for kids. And with all the McDonald's toys, it's making it sound like it is for kids, and it's not.
Yeah, actually, Danny, you bring up an appropriate point there, because let me, I've had this lady hold these for me, thank you. Because I wanted to show you that all the hysteria surrounding Batman has caused McDonald's to do a Happy Meal promotion, and you know, who's buying Happy Meals, 13-year-olds and over? And these are the toys that are on the market now, of course, the whole Batman series. So it is all geared toward younger kids. These toys are for 4 and up. Let's take a look now at the controversy that this has created. It's the most hyped movie of the summer season, Batman Returns. It's got a lot of violence. and some sexual innuendos. So it's rated PG-13, a warning to parents that some material in the movie is not appropriate for children under 13. But some parents say the marketing for the movie is directly targeting kids who are much younger.
So how come you want to go see the movie?
Because I think it's interesting.
What about you?
I've seen a lot of commercials, and I think it's going to be a good movie.
Here you go. Catwoman.
Even before the movie came out, toy stores were stocking the shelves with Batman paraphernalia for kids 4 years old and up.
Once the movie broke, it really started flying off the shelves. As soon as we can put it on the shelves, the customers are taking it off.
Batman, there's something going on at McDonald's. Better check it out.
And a McDonald's promotion is clearly aimed at kids. Buy a Happy Meal, get a Bat toy, even if you're too young to actually see the movie. Some parents are exasperated.
I think it's not appropriate at all that they're doing this kind of tie-in for the kids. And when she drives by the movie, she says she wants to go see the movie, and when I tell her she can't see it, she bursts out into tears.
Joining us now are Barbara McLean and her 9-year-old daughter, Kara. About a half an hour into the Batman Returns movie, they walked out. And Brad Curl, who belongs to an organization that promotes family entertainment, Batman Returns did not get their seal of approval. Please welcome them. Barbara, obviously you had seen the commercials about Batman Returns and the ads. Did you have any idea what it was going to be like based on that?
I think that a lot of the reason that we went to see Batman Returns was based on a lot of the marketing issues. I'm usually quite vigilant about the movies that my children see. I do not let them see PG-13 movies if I haven't seen them first. I have a 12-year-old son. He has been after me for months to see Terminator 2, and he has not seen that. I'm usually very vigilant about that, but I do think that the marketing confused us a little, and a lot of the reason that we went to see it was based on what my memories of Batman were from when I was a child.
The TV series.
Actually, even probably before that, and that would be the whole series of comic books, which were very, very defined, good versus evil. It was not real violence, rather inferred violence, and it was justice and morality and a lot of other issues that I think are missing from many of the films that we see today.
Certainly from Batman Returns, in your view.
Batman.
All right, Kara, why did you want to see the movie?
Well, I thought that it would be different than it actually was, and I didn't think it would have as much violence as it did.
Yeah, what did you think of it? You saw about 30 minutes of it before you left.
I didn't like it.
No, did it scare you?
Yes.
Yeah, you thought it was violent?
Yes.
Yeah, did you have bad dreams afterward or not?
No.
No, but it wasn't, you didn't want to stick around to the end, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, Barbara, what happened 30 minutes in that made you leave?
Well, I think actually in the beginning of the film, there were some issues that I found were very confounding in terms of looking at what I believe to be very important, and that is just general human suffering. The parents have a child who has a defect, which was not something that we ever saw in the comics. They threw him off a bridge into a sewer. He's a baby. He grows up to be the Penguin. Catwoman is a woman who gets thrown out of a 20-story building because she speaks her mind to her boss. She's abused. And the issues of good and evil were very confusing and very confounding to the children, because here was this woman who had been abused, who then comes back and could have been a good person and helping people, and she didn't do that. So I found that the lines were very gray between good and evil.
What's right and what's wrong. Danny, did you see younger kids in the theater when you went to see it? How many times have you seen it?
I saw it twice to get a real good view of it. And the second time I saw it...
It's his job, no snickering. He had to see it twice, right?
The second time I saw it, when I saw the younger kids, I really wanted to tell them not to see this. It's really scary.
Yeah.
It's a really scary movie.
Brad, what's your biggest complaint with the movie?
Well, my biggest complaint is that we have a classic illustration here of kind of the Hollywood and the corporate community being out of touch with the family and out of touch with kids. I mean, McDonald's has apologized to us. They're embarrassed, really, now that they've thought it through. We need a corporate America that's thinking through the impact they're having on our young people. Our kids need hope. They need real heroes. They need a bright future, not these dark And the film was full of little dirty, really raunchy little dirty jokes and lots of extreme violence. What has that got to do with inviting 6- and 8-year-old kids to the movies?
All right. We did invite McDonald's and Warner Brothers and Kenner, which makes the toys on today. They all declined to appear. They did give us a couple of statements. Let's look at the McDonald's quickly. McDonald's says, I'm paraphrasing here, they wanted to give young people a chance to experience the fun and excitement of Batman. They go on to say, we recognize our responsibility to our customers, and it was certainly not our intent to confuse parents or disappoint children. We're committed to maintaining their trust in McDonald's and sincerely regret any confusion. Warner Brothers says the movie is rated PG-13. It's up to the parents to take the responsibility of taking their kids to see the movie. And Kenner Products says kids can act out the fun of Batman in a manner that is wholly appropriate for their age group, and that's why they're making the toys. What do you think of those statements, Brad?
Well, I think it's, a little bit of a cop-out. I don't think they're going to do this again. I think McDonald's will think through better next time the kinds of movies they sponsor.
What do you think is really to blame? Is it the makers of the movie, or is it the people who end up marketing it?
We've talked with a lot of the executives in Hollywood who are in charge of distribution, et cetera, and a couple of them have told us, frankly, we're embarrassed by 90% of the stuff that we distribute to kids. We don't want our own kids to see it. 70-80% of the movies made in recent years are R-rated, and yet they're called horny boy movies, many of them. They're specifically made for teenage boys to take their girlfriends to. So it's a con job out there on our kids. They're not really caring about the welfare of our children.
All right, let me get to a commercial break, and we'll come back and continue to talk about Batman Returns.